Welcome, Capricorn, to your Mercury Retrograde Deep Dive forecast on February the 26th through to March the 20th, 22 days. Mercury, the communicator, but also the planet of precision, inverts in the water sign of Pisces, where it's detrimented through 14 degrees. Mercury retrogrades, of course, can cause tangles, misunderstandings, and snags, but they do also offer opportunities. It's all about how we think, particularly for you, because Mercury is in your third house, which has a flavor of the sign of Gemini, which Mercury rules. So it can be about enthusiasm, pizzazz, sparkle, effervescently, but the emotional energies of Pisces need to be taken into account. So it's about getting a balance between saying things quickly, but also saying what we truly feel. I'm going to share with you your event chart and talk you through this retrograde from a purely Capricorn perspective. But there's also some upcoming aspects which are very promising, which I'll share with you as well. But when Mercury goes retrograde, there are two influences that are quite challenging, and we need to be aware of those so we don't just focus on Mercury retrograde, we widen the lens. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. Thank you so much for joining me. A warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now. I'm going to share with you a summary by the end of this around your relationships, finance, energy, and work. You can also get the opportunity to get my Survive and Thrive Mercury Retrograde Guide. So on the screen, there's Mercury ensconced in your third house. So third house about that fleeting communication. Pisces is very much about reflection. It can be a very translucent energy. Sometimes Mercury in the third house, particularly in Pisces, will have a gift of communication that's not just cerebral but also sensory. So it's about atmospheres as well as the words themselves. But Venus, the relator, is exalted in the sign of Pisces, and the two are going to meet on the 28th. So very important that you don't think I can't meet up or send a message or travel anywhere. Third house can be quick journeys, interact with my local community. Am I going to have a snag with my sibling? Third house again. Not necessarily. And that connection between Venus and Mercury is delicious. However, as this event occurs, the moon and Jupiter are in your seventh house. And the seventh house is very much about relationships. But that Venus position is connecting to Jupiter in an incredibly positive way. They were exactly trine, that's diminishing, but that's still close enough to be significant. So there could be a message, or the way you say something, someone can find very evocative and hard to resist, or will they? Because your ruler, Saturn, is also squaring off to the moon, and that's much more inhibiting. So if you're spending time with someone where you feel very relaxed, just atmospherically, very Piscean, you don't need to chat about it, you just know. There can even be those interludes when no one speaks and it's not an issue. But if you're with someone where you do feel tongue-tied and things aren't flowing so well, that will tell you over the next 3 weeks that maybe, for whatever reason, the chemistry isn't meant to be. But if you're lucky enough to have a connection with someone, it can be a pretty good one. But the other thing to know is that Mars, the planet of hustle and bustle and desire, action, has been for 5.5 weeks in a part of your chart to do with getting a return on all the energy that you've put in since the start of the year, when there was a cluster of energy in your sign and you were being more individualistic, more focused on creativity, new starts, or injecting ongoing plans with greater dynamism. And Mars is wanting to see that return, but it's also in a square with Uranus, the planet of electric restlessness. And because that square goes everyday money, the second house, Mars can be impatience. Uranus is in the fifth house, can be romance, but can also be speculation. So if there's someone that you really like, or there's an idea that you're drawn towards, don't rush it. And Saturn's asking you to be protective of your emotional well-being, your security, but that's a very dynamic influence that you will feel the electricity of. And that link between Venus and Jupiter can make you feel that something's very possible around a relationship, where Saturn and the Moon are just saying that may be so, but don't go too quick. So that brings us to the 2nd of March. Mars moves into the sign of Pisces, and that will see the pace of life pick up considerably. But also, you're likely to want to be much more action orientated over the following 6 weeks. And that could mean jumping off the settee if you're in the Northern Hemisphere and going from a born again couch potato to an Olympian. But don't try to do it too quick. But you will feel that increase in vitality, which is exciting. But on the 3rd, we do have a total lunar eclipse, and it's in the ninth house, Virgo, for you, which is the big picture. The 3rd house is everyday chat. The ninth house is more about your philosophies, can be to do with travel. Again, don't rush things. But on the 7th, a great opportunity for you because there's a Mercury cazimi. And if there is an idea you've got, despite Mercury's retrograde, that you can think through with dexterity and put it across with aplomb in a way the sun magnifies, and someone can really be drawn to the brilliance of your idea. You could show real ingenuity at that time. But on the 9th, Jupiter, which forges that initial brilliant link with Venus, then forges a great one with Mercury. And the significance is they're both to do with business. Mercury's the merchant, the marketeer. Jupiter has the vision and the confidence to expand or connect, particularly around international trade or import export or just business in general, marketing, if you like. So the two are complementing each other very well. But there is a crunch point on the 15th. Mercury's inching backwards, Mars is coming forwards at pace. The two meet. You could feel really, really restless and you could feel a bit irritable. If you're traveling anywhere, just be very conscious about slowing down and just cruising along, getting safely to your destination. If you do have a meeting and you want to punch across your ideas, you could do so with aplomb, with great authority and conviction, but you could also come off as being a bit sharp. So I think the big picture for you is essentially your words, your thinking. You have an opportunity to share what's already going on with great passion, particularly when Mars turns up in Pisces, but you can't rush it because of that square between Mars and Uranus. And just know around relationships, they require tact as well because of Saturn being a bit cool in that right angle to the moon. In fact, there may be someone who likes you who feels you don't like them if you're not too careful. So sometimes in life, we have to show faith, Jupiter, faith, belief, Jupiter, conviction. So if there is someone you really like or an idea you've got you really believe in, despite the retrograde, have the confidence to share it, but share it in a well thought through, well researched way. Be precise. Difficult with Mercury and Pisces at the best of time for all of us. It's a shimmering, mesmeric, mysterious energy in some ways. The watery vibe can really affect in a translucent way the clarity of our thinking. But if you are a writer, you're a blogger, you make video, you work in a conversational or communicational or marketing role, training, teaching, do you know, as long as you choose your words carefully, you may be surprised by some of the outcomes of this Mercury retrograde. But I think if you have beliefs or you have a mode of transport or that are perhaps a little outdated, there may be the need for a rethink and someone could challenge you. Of course, you had that quite a lot over the last couple of years with Saturn in your 3rd house. Could happen again. You've evolved a lot with Saturn's help. This gives you an opportunity to see how far you've come. But if you are someone who's a little bit reserved, it's pushing you to have the confidence to stand up your ideas and punch them across with pizzazz, and enthusiasm. Now, if you'd like to understand what March holds for you and you've yet to watch your deep dive, please click on the screen for that. And on the second screen, you can download your Survive and Thrive Mercury Retrograde Guide. Please take advantage of my unique horoscope reports offer. You can order your 12-month forecast, but also your life roadmap report, totally unique to you. If you apply Astro 26 at the checkout, you'll get 50% off. If you'd like to know more about your karmic soul journey through Draconic astrology, you can order the same package, but apply at the checkout Draco 26. Thank you.